Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a video on this facade. I looked it up. I can't figure out the name of this facade, so I'm just going to call it the attractor point diamond. I'm not too sure. I'll figure out a name for it when I upload it, but I think this one is interesting as it is attractor point based as well, but it's a lot of my precedents are attractor point based, but I think a lot of these kind of elaborate facades and elaborate things are attractor point based, so that's why there's so much attractor point. But I think setting it up to be an attractor point is the main part of the lesson as well. So if there's any more precedents that you'd like me to do, you can let me know. I'm just picking off of a list that I find interesting. I do find a lot of attractor point ones interesting, so that's the real reason why I've been doing them. But anyway, so I'm going to do this one. As you can see, it is diamond, so I will have to recreate the diamond shape. And these are varying hole size, so I will have to figure out a way to do all that as well. And there is a slight articulation of the extrusion here, as you can see. It's very, very slight, so I will be doing that as well. This is just a forms. I was looking up how to randomly do something, so literally random select. So you guys, that's pretty much it for this. I'll move it to the other screen, and hopefully, in the last video, I'm sorry about that, guys, that it just randomly stopped recording, and then I had to splice it really, really badly together. So yeah, so let's get started. So I haven't even started Grasshopper yet, actually. So let me start that. Apologize for that. Let me just do that. And while I'm at it, I'm going to. So yeah, it's just loading right now, all my stuff. Of course, there's a lot of things in my my library. So while this loads, I'll talk about a few things. I'll continue this series. I just started school, so I will be a little bit busy, and just started school. I will be a little. Oh my god, I'm really bad. Sorry about that, guys. I will be a little busy. And panel. Alright, just want to make sure it works. So I will be a little busy, as I was saying, so I don't know how frequent I can make videos, but I will definitely try and to create quality content for you guys in terms of the precedents that I pick up. So let's get started anyway. So I'm going to create that diamond shape, and we've done this for the last tutorial. It was a bristlet facade, so I will be doing that as well, the same type of process of creating that diamond shape. So let's do that real quick. So I'm going to start with a. I'm going to start with. There's a few things I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with a polygon, actually, and we're going to now do a radius of 6. It's pretty big, actually. The segments be 3 for the sides, so segments 3, and I'm going to keep it at 6, actually. I'll line these up. Once I do polygon, I can now do a rotate, and I need to rotate this 90 degrees, and that's the wrong rotate one, so let's do that rotate. Let's do geometry, and I don't even need to do anything to that. It's already aligned, but for the sake of you guys, I am going to do radians. And what's the angle at right now? It's just 90. So I'm going to, for the completeness of this script, I'm going to label it. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay, there we go. Didn't change anything, but just to make sure you guys kind of understand, it is a 90-degree rotation. So once we do that, I'm going to do now a mirror curve, and it asks for a geometry and a curve. So it's basically saying the curve here is basically saying what curve am I going to mirror across. So if I wanted to mirror along this curve, then I would set this curve. So what I'm going to do now is do an explode. And now we have that. I'll move that here, and I'm going to do a list item to get all 3 of these sides. This one, and this one. There's, and I just copy and pasted that one. So 0, 1, 2. 1, 2, line, 1, 2, sweet. So it is this one. Alright, cool. So we're going to use that curve and this geometry. And sweet. We have that now all figured out. So let me explode this one as well. And also I need to label out the vertices of this one and this one as well. So let me do another list item. And I'm going to use the same numbers 1 and 2 here. So vertices. So C, D, E. Alright, they're already connected, and that's exactly what I wanted. So here will be 1, here will be 2. And I'm going to do, that's already explode. So I'm going to do a list item, and I only want the vertices of these. So I'm actually going to hide the geometry here. Why is it still curved? Maybe I'll hide that. Right now, these are labeling the sides. So I only want to see the points, and that's what this is going to do. List, list, and list. Come on. So we're going to put, right now they're all grafted, I don't know why. 0, 1, 2, because remember there's still 3 sides. And sweet. Let me see this. I'm not too sure what's going on here. Okay, I see. Alright, I'm going to have to flatten this so we can read, because right now they're not reading as, actually, right now they're reading as, this is reading those, this is reading as those 2. 0, 1, 2. I'm not sure. 0, 1, 2. Okay, so 2 happens to be the same. Okay. So right now I'm going to try to create that diamond shape with these points. Let me see. I can probably get away with this. Alright, let me try this out. So I'm going to create a weave pattern through this that will actually weave polylines through this entire thing. So we're going to type in a weave, and I want to see if I have enough points. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 streams. So 0 through 3, and where's 0? I'm going to start with this top one. So this one will be 1 or 0. 1, and I know this was this one, 2, and then 3. Sweet. And now the pattern isn't working right now because it's only doing these 2. Because right now the pattern is set at, the weave pattern is only set at 0 and 1. So we're going to have to type in a panel. Sorry about that. And we're going to do 0. And then we're going to type in the order we want it weaved, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. And then uncheck multi-line data and plug this thing in. Sweet. And now as you see, all 4 of them are highlighted. So when we make a polyline, it will cover everything but 1, but that is okay because we can just do toggle and just do true. You could either do a Boolean toggle. Honestly, I don't understand what the point of these toggles are. Actually, no. I do understand the point of the toggles. They're just weird. I just don't know how to use them correctly. Excuse me. The toggles do have a point. I just personally don't know how to use them because you can also do just 1. 1 and true also stand for true and false. 0 is false. 1 is true. False is true. You can also just do the toggles as well. So it's just another way if you need to change between it back and forth. So once you have the polyline, we're going to now do a move. We're actually going to, before we do a move, we're going to analyze this exact thing. We're going to find the distance between this point, and then this in the midpoint as well. So we're going to do an area, and we're going to find the geometry area, and then we're going to do a distance. Now we're going to do, which point do I want? One of these points. Oh man, it's not showing up now. Actually, the one thing I like about the weave pattern, if you do the weave pattern, you know exactly which points these are. So I know this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So I need 0, 1. I need 1. So I'm going to click this and kind of trace myself back. I need 1 and 3. And there we go. So we have the distance of that, which is that number. I don't know what that means. It's just the distance of it. That's literally all it's saying. And then I want the distance between this way as well. So 0, 1, 2. So I need 2, which is here. Between this and this. Sweet. Actually, let me line these up. And now I'm going to do a move of these polylines in the x direction with this distance. And that only moves it halfway since it's the point. So I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to label these real quick before I move on. So I'm going to do scribble. And this will be considered was it not longitudinal? It's not transverse. It is transverse, but I'm thinking how to label this because this is very important. Should I just say point short length distance? Short length distance to midpoint. Cool. Sweet. And this is I want to copy this actually and then just change to long. Alright, so I'm going to align these, and these will be grouped together. So I want to make sure these are highlighted. So technically, couldn't I just do a multip? Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can do multiplication. So I know this is just twice. One is just this times 2 will equal this whole distance. Or you could do another distance and do this one and this one, but I already have this one done, so I don't want to look back on the script constantly just to find those. So I can just do times 2 and then result. Sweet. And that should equal whatever the number that is. And that only does that factor of them, so I'm going to do series first. And the count will be in here, and that will be in here. Actually, not count, sorry, that. Step will be in here. Turn off the count. How do I disconnect it? There we go. And we're going to do that, and that, and that. Now we're going to do 11 as our count. So we can now actually start to control the parameters of how much we're changing it. So now we're going to do another move in the y direction, and we're going to use that same multiplication. Multiplication. Cannot spell today. Don't know why. And I'll just plug in this and do another series and do another step. And we're going to keep this consistently a square, I guess. So we do geometry 1. And remember, we have this, so we need to graft it. So I could just do this, not grab, graft. You could do the right-click graft, but it doesn't show much to people when you're trying to share the script. I have a tendency of doing this a lot when I'm teaching, just use one of these, but it's really, really inefficient as it doesn't teach anyone anything. If you're already an avid modeler, then it doesn't help. If it's only for you, then and you're not giving to anyone else, then you can use these, but if you're showing people, it'd be quite nice to see these. So yeah, maybe I did this wrong because I only moved, yeah, alright. So I didn't do it wrong. I did do all the ones I was supposed to do, but the problem is, if I do area right now, it only shows those points. I want these as well. So before I even do that y distance articulation that I had there, I'm going to do a move again. Oh, nope, not what I just did. And I'm going to actually get this diamond shape and move it halfway across. So move. I already have move, but I'm going to have to use multiple anyway, so it doesn't matter. Distance, I need the short distance. And do a series in the X direction. So I'm a messy modeler or scripter. Distance. And I can call it count to whatever it's 16. So subtraction 16 minus 1, which will equal 15. So it'll equal, because we're counting the amount of spaces in between here. And then we're going to move, is it this geometry? Yeah, that geometry. Alright, cool. And then we're going to move them all the way across. So now we have these. Oh, yeah. Does it, did I do something wrong? Did I do? Okay, that should be right. Alright. I keep doing another move even though I have one right there. I just want to make sure this is right before I can move on. Maybe 12 or something. Ah, crud. Okay, so let me try this. Nope. That's really weird. Alright, let me check out the panels. Let me see what the panels are saying. It's already flattened. That's the only reason why I didn't think that would have worked. But, alright, let me look at this real quickly. No, not delete that stuff. Delete that. Alright. If I do a move, or if I do this, I have this, then it highlights those. I'm going to delete this graph real quick because it's confusing me. This, I just need all of them to shift. Yeah, so I don't need any of this. I don't know why. I need the distance stuff, but I don't need the other stuff. I can just do motion. I can do that move again. And just move all the geometry that way. Alright, I don't know why I was confusing myself. Now I'm going to use this move. Do it in the Y direction. I just want to make sure I get the right distance before. So I'm going to test some stuff out before I plug it into this finalized one. This finalized one, this is the finalized one, which is for all the other geometry, so both of it together. Let me see if this is right. So this. And this. Wait. What the hell? Is this point? Okay, no, it's not. This one. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And now that these two are resolved, we can now do a ultimate move in a sense, and move both of these geometries at once. So we can do a Y, motion Y, I can do a graft, and now let me test it out by doing area, and let me hide that area here, because this is really annoying. Oh, where's area here? Turn that off. Yep, so now each one has their own point. I could have done a, maybe I'm going to do it for this one, because right now this side isn't symmetrical with this side. So I have this one, and then this is the move in the Y direction. So I'm actually going to do call patterns, or do I want to do that? Let me see what the list looks like first, because it should just be the last line, 15. Okay, so do a call index. Then we can do that. Oh shoot! And do this. And say 15. And plug this in. Okay, 15. So technically, if I wanted to call it, it would be always this number, this 16 minus 1, instead of just, I want to automate it as much as possible so I don't have to actually like go back here and manually do each one. So let me do that. This will be 1. and I will be good. Alright, sweet. And now we can just plug this into the move instead. Okay, wow, that did not work out very well, did it? Alright, so let me see what this looks like. It's just very 13, 14. Alright. Oh, wait. Let me do this. Actually, let me disconnect this one and plug this one in. And why did that not work? What is going on here? Alright. No data was collected. What? No data was collected. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to redo this move. Alright. This node corrupted or something. I have no clue. But call index list indices. I don't know what this one's doing here, but it's not there. So I got it symmetrical now. As you can see, each side is now have their own respective patterning. As you can see, they're symmetrical. So cool. Alright, sorry that took so long. I don't know why that node corrupted or something. I don't know, it does that sometimes, so I'm not too sure. So after all these elaborate moves we did, and mathematical, very simple math in order to do and automate certain things, we can now actually change the parameters of this paneling, as you can see, and it's still symmetrical because it's still just subtracting that by 1, because that's literally all it is. So let's actually start to manipulate the geometry and actually create once we have the outsides, we can actually now do these inside ones. So let's do, all I have to do is do a scale operation. You could do an offset as well, but I like to do scale because I think it's a little more reliable. Offset sometimes helps, so we can do, so we're going to use the center, and we're going to do the geometry. As you can see, they're already scaling for me. Sweet. And now we can do 12. Oh, no, not 12. I'm going to do 1, type in 1, and then change this to a rational, I don't remember what it's called. Floating point number, sorry. So we have the multiple decimal points, and then we can get down to a hundred, 1/10, thousands of an accuracy. 1,000th of an accuracy. So we can actually scale it down, and then actually create this. So cool, we have the insides now, but that's not exactly what we wanted, right? We wanted them to vary. This one definitely is big or smaller than this one. So let's try to vary it now instead. So now that we have this down, we can actually, I'm going to disconnect this first, just to make sure it doesn't keep trying to manipulate the geometry while we're working. And I'm going to do a map numbers. And then we're going to put this into clipped. And then we're going to do a construct domain. And then we're going to do a bound. This is where the attractor point lesson comes in. And we're going to do closest point. So I'm going to plug these in. And then we're going to actually put one of these as the smallest domain. And then we're going to put 1 again. And then we're going to put a floating point number. And I'm going to set this at maybe probably something pretty big. So that's almost only a 75% scale. So now we're going to plug this into here. And we're now going to do the point. Plug this in. Click point here. Right click, set 1 point. And now plug in. Actually, is this right? Is it going to plug in the geometry? Let me check this out, because this may cause a problem. Because let me make sure the listings are the same. If they're not, or at least counting the same. 9, 9. Okay, cool. It's gonna be fine. Yep. And there we go. We have our paneling now. But it's going vertically. I'm not too sure why it's doing that. It's really weird. Okay, so let me think about this. You could do that, the closest point. Or you could do a distance. Because I don't want it to be... No, it still does the same thing. Maybe if I flatten this. Alright, cool. Alright, I think that's what... See, because you see these are bigger now. It's doing more of a radial attractor point versus a... what's it called? Not a radial versus a... How much geometry does this have? 190. 190. Alright. A radial geometry versus a... well, we're not flattening that, that's for sure. A radial geometry versus the linear geometry that we had if we just had this component. So we just flatten that so it reads all of these center points on its own independently. So we're just going to delete that. We're going to plug this in. And it's still doing that. Interesting. It's creating how much geometry? 3,000. Okay then, alrighty. That's not good. That didn't go well for that. Flatten. Alright, it's creating all this 190. Center of the geometry is also 190, so I think I need to flatten the center. Nope, do not flatten the center. Well, if I think everything needs to be flattened if I flatten one thing. It's my hypothesis. Okay, yeah. If I flatten one thing, I need to flatten the rest, right? Yeah, that's what it looks like here. Maybe if I still had it at closest point, would have worked. Let me check. So let's do closest point and see if that would have worked as well. So I'm going to actually unflatten these real quick. And that's why I lowered the geometry count so it didn't freak out. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it's reading very linearly. A linear attractor point. As you see, these are all the same versus these are also all the same. It's not radial. So if I flatten this, okay, it's still doing the same thing. All right, then I just need to flatten these two because the list is reading weird right now. All right, so we have this, and it's controlled. See, if I move this here, this is bigger, even it's in the same line of sight, and these are bigger too, and they're still in the same line of sight. So we now have this. We now have that attractor point done. Sweet. Let me see what the list reads actually. Alright. Okay, it's just a bunch of stuff. Alright, cool. Alright, it's all flattened. Alright, and now that we have that, we can actually start to manipulate that scaled geometry. I'm actually going to move the as you can see in this, the geometry is actually pushed in. So I'm actually going to move the geometry downwards. So I'm going to do a move. I'm going to move it in the negative direction. So we can go in perspective to see this. I'm going to start with just 0 right now. Move this here. Negative z. So I'm going to type in z, then negative, and then 0. That's a weird order. I don't know if I could have done negative, then z. You could do it either way, I'm pretty sure. So right now they're just moving down. I can turn this off. You see I'm just moving it down now. I'm actually going to keep it at max of 2, let's say. And then keep it with rationals. And then we can actually start to get more of a consistent move. So now we're going to do we have this, and we have this, which is all that geometry. So now we're going to do an explode with this geometry on both of these. So explode here and explode here. And we can read the listing and see what that looks like. Alright, nice. Cool, cool, cool. It's reading that exactly how I want it. And let me read this one. Please, 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 yes. All right, so it's reading that exactly how I want it to, except for this 5, it's just repeating something. So yeah, it's literally repeating 0.1, as you see, 0.1's so it's just repeating some points. So whatever. All right, so that's fine. I can snuff that out through listing. So list item again. And then we're going to create these surfaces through surface using the command of surface from points. I'm sure you can just take the lines and loft them, I think. Let me try that. Actually, I haven't even thought about that. Maybe you could do that. Let me try that. So I'm going to find one of these lines first. So I'm going to do segments. List item. And I'm going to do segment 0, and then also do 0 here. And then I'm going to do a loft. And I'm going to do this one and this one. And I need to flatten it since these are both grafted. And how you can tell that things are grafted without even having to panel. See, the only way to know if it was grafted, if it was paneled, right? So you see, if you use a panel and do that, but even before you know, you can tell because of the wires. So the wires here are these solid type wires, not literally solid, but they're consistently one line versus these are dashed lines. So that's how you can tell. So I gotta flatten this. If I want to see if that works. Loft failed. Don't know why. Well, same. I don't know why either it failed. Thanks for helping me out, man. Maybe if I don't think that works. If I flatten, I have to flatten, I think, both of these first so the geometry reads correctly. Flatten here too. Okay. So I guess not, man. So the way we're going to do this is not by lofting. Well, we're definitely not doing by lofting. We're going to do this through surface from points. So we have point 0. I'm going to zoom in. Point 0, and then so this is the big geometry, the outside geometry, and then this is the inside geometry. So we're going to list item again. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 points. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to do the big ones first. So 3, 4. And then just line these up real quickly. 1, 4. And then line these up. And then we're going to use the same numbers too. So 1, 2, and 3. 1. Straighten these out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1. Oh, why is that one not showing up? Okay, so it's this point. Or not, look at this side. I cannot see, so I'm going to draw a line real quickly. And then I'm just going to use the zoom select tool so I can see closer. And put this point here. 4, 4. Alright, cool. Alright, and let me see this one. Is that geometry? Yes, sweet. Alright, so everything is lining up. Let me see if I can line these up too. Because I don't want them to be confused. I can actually just do this versus this versus that and that. And I can move it consistently across each other. Now I can make it somewhat neat, but still messy. And then line these up. Alright, cool. Sorry, I'm just a little bit of a perfectionist now. So, see how long this script already is. It's not like super long, but it has some listing potential. So we're going to do a surface from points. So do a surface from points, which is this one. Or not surface from points. No, I'm going to do a 4-point surface. Excuse me, sorry. So we're going to do this point, then this point, and then this point, and then this point. Alright, nice. Let's try that. So this point, and then this point, and then this point. Alright, well that's going quite insane. What is going on here? I'm reading this and it's not looking very good. It's just reading all over the place. Let me think this through. Alright, so let me delete this. This is definitely a listing issue. Let me see this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Nope, that's from kangaroo. Point, and then plug this in here. Yeah, this should have made that articulation. Confusing. So let me try to do a 4 point again. Alright, maybe I put that in wrong, so let me see. Let me try the bigger ones first. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see what it's doing here with just 3. So it is taking those points, but it is definitely creating this weird geometry. So we're running into a bit of troubleshooting, of course. Always happens with me. So let's see what this list item. Maybe I'm listing something wrong. What is it saying? Let me read these panels. Maybe I'm listing something wrong, because I remember that there were duplicates, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. I just want 4 of these, so I just want the 4 unique ones. So I want this one, 0, 0. Let me look at the top here. So this one is the larger one. So this is 0, 6. So that's 1. Why is 4, 0, 6 as well? So I only want this one. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Wait, this one's 5.515. There's no negative. It should be. It's basically saying 5.515. Okay, that doesn't sound right. That's weird. 1, 2. Man, I'm confused. Huh. This is confusing me, sorry. I just don't know why there's duplicates. Tree, quick. Move invalid, move empties. No one remove duplicates. Oh, I thought this would have it. Dang it. 0, 6, 5.15, 10, 6. 10.6. It's basically reading these, right? So if it's reading those moves, okay, I think it's reading correctly now. It's reading 5 of them. It should be reading 1. It should be reading 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try this again, because I did flatten this. Alright, maybe 4 point surface. Let's try this again. 1, 2, wait, 1, 2, 3. See what it does with 3. Okay, so it looks actually normal and not like something's gonna die. Alright, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. Okay, That's not bad. Alright, so as you see, they are. I hate this zoom with Rhino. Alright, so they're crossing, right? That's not good. That doesn't look good at all, in fact. So what we need to do is we need to reverse one of them. So we're going to reverse these two. So this one will go here, and this one will go here. Okay, that didn't work. Let me see. One of them needs to be reversed, so let me do this again. So this one will go here. So one of them needs to be reversed, I remember that. And then, okay, cool. So I reversed them, and I did one, wait, one, why is it not showing up now? 1, 2, let me plug these into their respective areas. 1, 2, well 0 would be up here, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. So if you get that little crisscross shape, it kind of like an X, it's basically saying that the list is reading in like, so if it was that X that we had before, it was reading 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would create that surface. So let me delete this surface real quick. I think it's in this one anyways. So yeah, all right, cool. So we need to create 1, 2, 3 more. So let's do another 4-point surface. And I'm going to copy and paste 2 more because we need 2 more anyways. Alright, so let's do another one. We need this point. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And it's reading that X again, as you can see. So we just need to reverse, or not reverse, but redo 2 of them. Just swap 2 of them. It doesn't really matter. And then we get this. Sweet. So let's do the last one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on. And the last one. This isn't the last one. Crap. 3, 4. Alright, so I'm having this mismatch again. No big deal though, because we can just reverse them into the respects. Okay, cool. Alright, let's now do the final ones, which will be 1, 2. It's a big one. Yep, 3. Alright, I think this may read correctly. Oh my god, I got it on the first try. Alright, so now it's reading correctly. Awesome. And now, that's cool. Alright. We're getting somewhere. We're getting places. Alright. So now that we have this, we can actually start to get find the geometry that's that line work. Negative, it's this one. Alright. And we can actually, like we said, we want to do that. We want to do that extrusion here, that slight extrusion. So let's do that. It's not hard. We can do an extrude. And we can do a direction and a negative direction and Z. Let's see if this works. Let's do Z and do 1. Sorry if you heard that vibration, that was my phone. Rational numbers or floating point numbers. As you see, it's making that extrusion here. Awesome. So now we have that. We can also cap one side of it technically, but I am going to leave it like that for right now. And the next, not the next one, but in a future one, I may actually. I don't think it'd be too hard to cap. All I do is do another explode and find those 4 points. So it shouldn't be too hard. So now we have that 4-point surface, we can actually start to do a join, do a brep join, and then join all these together into one geometry. Come on. and then hide these. So now we have this geometry, they're all joined, and now we can actually start to move around the point. And I'll actually start to manipulate that into a smaller area, if I can find that point. Alright, let's see. As you can see, it's actually starting to manipulate. It takes a while because of the computer, but it's actually starting to, you know, open in and out. So yeah, guys. Do I want to do this real quick? I mean, I might as well do it. It's not super hard. So, I'll do an explode again. I could cap it and then, actually, if I do a cap, what will that read? Now that'll read as one extrusion, so that won't even read as, it'll read as one whole object. What do I want to do? Deconstruct brep. Oh no. Deconstruct. If I did that, it does faces, edges, first. Let me try doing the cap and then deconstructing it, because maybe that's the way to go with this. Faces. Let me read up the panel. The panel for this one. Trend. I need two of them, and it's these two. I know that 0 and 1 are the top and bottom faces, and here's why. The 4 here are those 4 sides, and they're labeled the exact same. There's only 4 of them, so I mean, it's kind of, I can kind of guess that. I'm not, because I can't, I'm pretty sure it is. So let me do a list item and just read out. It's a 50-50, so I'm just going to do 2, which is the bottom. Oh, no, it's not the bottom face. Wow. Oh, it's 1. It is 1. Okay, so I was right, because I did do, I don't know why. This should be set to, this was always, actually this is always going to be 5. This is always going to be 5. So I can actually hide the rest of that and only have the bottom. So I have the extrusion and the bottom, and I can do a join. Actually, I'm not going to brep join it, or brep, sorry, because I actually want, these to stay independent. If I was thinking about it in a rendering setting, I would not want these to be considered as one, because this is going to be white, and this is going to be clear like glass. So definitely I would keep them separate in that fashion. As you can see, I have this, we have this. So we can now bake that. Bake the geometry. We can bake this. Yes, please. Bake, yes, please. And then put this in shaded view. Alright, zoomed out. Nice. Oh well, the point is all the way over there. So I'm going to move that. Move all that geometry again. I'm going to do a zoom selected. As you can see, now we have our extrusion plus that geometry. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. This is the, I'm not too sure what I'm going to call this. Maybe I can find the building. But for right now, I think they call it the second skin. So I'm just going to call it the second skin facade. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. This will be as well on the Google Drive. I will definitely be doing more tutorials on these parametric precedents. I find these very fun and challenging. So I'm really enjoying this series. And I'm actually going to try to find a way to randomize these into a setting. And I'm also going to teach a way to actually warp a warp geometry to a surface. And I think that's going to be really interesting. I'm going to give credit to Parametric House for teaching me this. He didn't really teach me. I mean, I didn't know it actually at all, so I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't know exactly how to at all to manipulate it to a surface, and then I asked him, and he said you can use the surface morph to do it. And I was like, okay. So I looked up how to use it, and now I know how to use it. So thanks, big shout out to him, and really kind of pointing me in the right direction. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. and I will see you on the next video. And it didn't stop recording in the middle, so cool. Alright, see you guys. Bye.